During some of my early growing days, citrus was one of the main crop that I grew out of containers. Smaller containers because I did not know much about them. There was a lady over at the Green Acre Nursery I used to shop at on Jackson Road here in the Sacramento Valley. Her name was Eloisa, and she was a Mexican woman that knew a pretty good deal about growing food. So she told me the type of soil that I need and that it needed a acidic environment. So I took it from there and started experimenting on my own. I did not understand or knew that citruses, as they get older, they need to be in much larger containers. I had no clue. But as I began to get into my serious journey of growing food, well, that became apparent that they needed more room. California is the largest citrus grower. Second is Florida. So I took it upon myself to go out and visit orchards. Orchards where growers have been growing these things for a long, long time. And they taught me a lot about what type of soil, the environment, how to prune, and many things. From that point, I decided to go ahead and get my master gardening license. And so I did get the certification. But it didn't do me any good because it didn't teach me much about citrus. And I wanted to really understand citrus. So I went to UC Davis Agriculture Department. And they had students over there in a big old garden and all the other type of things because they sit literally in the area where a lot of our citruses grow. Well, here's my journey. And for years I've grown citrus. And I wanted to grow things not on the farm, although on my land I have such, but in containers. I wanted to show people how to do it. And I did it in containers because I was wheelchair bound, diagnosed with Progress MS, and didn't know if I'll ever walk again, but I wanted to try and, help myself and better my health. Well, here you go. One of the things I used to teach early on in my citrus growing was that the soil needs nutrients. Throwing compost in there and all that good stuff, those things are very important, yes. But truth of the matter is, if you got the right soil medium, you'll never get soil that recedes quick enough that you have to add more. You can see that I haven't done nothing to this container here, and the soil is about an inch, a little bit more than an inch away from the top of the line. The soil is only viable as much as the nutrition you put in there, and there's 4 different stages that the soil must go through. And once you understand those stages, you'll understand how to bring back that nutritional content in your soil. Truth of the matter is during the summer months, you need lots of mulch. But mulch is only good for a short amount of time. From that point, you need compost. And compost only goes, so far. And then the next 2 things, well, people talk about worm casting, but they're temporary. And the truth of the matter is we need 4 different components. And the other one is biochar. A lot of gardeners in the backyard don't make biochar. And it's easy to make. Once you combine all of those, you'll get a soil that, has a high profile nutritional uptake in there. And that's very important. We all are gardeners, but guess what? Most of the food we still eat, especially if you're vegan, you're not getting the maximum nutritional value if your soil is depleted. And you may think your soil is has a lot of nutrition in it just because you grow green leafy vegetables and some other fruits and whatnot. But truth be told, do what I do. Take some fruit, take a soil sample, and take it to your local agriculture department. Let them test it out. In most states, it's very free. The federal government love coming out to the soil and taking care of samples and, running it through some testings. And you'll find out that you have a depletion worse than you thought. Just when you thought you were growing food, you really are not. This particular tree here is the Moro blood orange. And it's one of the sisters to the Sanguinella blood orange. And there's quite a few varieties now of blood oranges. And they're literally making them every day. Everything is hybridized, whether we like it or not. And citruses, as I've told you folks many times over the years, that they're not native to the north. You know, us, North America. They're native to Asia, Southeast Asia, even Australia, but not here. So it's a privilege to be able to have these. And some of us complain about the fact that why are there thorns like you see down there? Why are there thorns, in the citrus? Well, that all depends on the rootstock. And if the rootstock is not correct, you'll get that above the graft line. But truth of the matter is, this particular tree can stay in this container for a long, long, long time. This is a 40-gallon container. I haven't done nothing over the past year to it. Just has a sprinkler head that comes on. It's set by a timer, and that's it. Other than that, I haven't done anything. When the rain comes down, it gets all of its minerals that it needs. This is why only in the summer months do I add a lot of mulch. The mulch keeps the soil cool and keep the nutrition available. And it just really helps out. But make sure you add living mulch that breaks down and turns into this wonderful, beautiful soil. And then from that point, well, this is what you get. You get something that's going to serve a purpose in your garden. It's going to have a wonderful nutritional profile. The truth of the matter is, if you grow in containers, you can control that environment, but you can't control this environment. And sometimes when you grow in containers, the soil is a lot better than this right here. And most people don't realize that. This December, I'd be 6 years at this residence. And this is the first time the Morrow Blood Orange has an abundance amount of fruit. Patience is key, and practicing the 5 P's is equally as important. Let's go over them. We must pray, and then we must plan what we want to do to our garden. Once we do that, we can prepare the soil and plant. Once we plant, we could practice what we preach. In other words, that's just the way it is. Anyone can grow a garden, but what your garden can do for you is equally as important as what you can do for it. Remember, it has life. Everything that's created on this earth has life. And I will echo this again. It's not what your garden can do for you, but what you can do for your garden. Remember, you're the sower, and you're the one supposed to be laboring in the garden. The question that I'm going to leave you with and ponder is, what type of seeds are you sowing?